The Starbucks receipt was still stuck to my laptop when my father texted me a photo of a document with my signature on it, and I stayed quiet even as my stomach dropped. Under the photo, he wrote one sentence that made my throat go dry. "Pay the money for your sister by tomorrow at noon, or I report you for authorizing it and then lying." My name is Colette. I am 32 years old, and I work as a senior compliance officer at a major bank in Chicago. I did not call him. I did not type back a single angry word. I set my mug down so gently the coaster did not even shift, because panic is what guilty people do, and I have spent my whole career watching innocent people destroy themselves by reacting too fast. I zoomed in on the document he sent. The signature looked like mine if someone copied it with a trembling hand. The date line was blank. The wording was wrong, too polished in some places, sloppy in others, like it had been stitched together from different templates. My father, Grayson, was not asking for help. He was building a story, and in his story I was the villain who made him do this. My little sister, Waverly, always loved stories. She loved being the main character. She was 29 and somehow still treated my identity like it was a family coupon anyone could use at checkout. I opened my work laptop and logged into the audit portal the way I did every morning. Same password, same two-factor prompt, same sterile dashboard that never cared about my feelings. The portal did not lie and it did not love anyone. It just recorded. The loan application attached to the document was a home equity line request tied to my profile, my social security number, my employment verification, my whole clean, boring life. But the access log told a different truth. The application was not submitted from my device. It was opened from a phone labeled Waverly iPhone. The security questions were answered correctly on the first try, as if the person typing had practiced in a mirror. My mother's maiden name, my first pet, the street where we grew up, answers I never gave Waverly, yet somehow she knew. My fingers hovered above the keyboard, and for one sharp second, I felt the old familiar shame. The kind that makes you wonder if you somehow caused your own robbery by existing too loudly. Then the next line loaded. A verification code had been sent to my old family phone number, not my current one. The number Grayson still paid for, the one he told me to keep on the account for emergencies. That little detail turned my sister's fraud into something uglier. It meant my father had not just discovered this, he had helped it happen. I took screenshots, I exported the access log, I saved the metadata. I copied my father's threat into a secure folder. Everything time-stamped, everything clean. Proof is a language that does not need emotion. My phone buzzed again. Read my text, Colette. Be a good daughter. Good daughter. The words hit me like a finger pressing a bruise. He used to say that when I cleaned up Waverly's messes without asking questions, when I paid a bill quietly, when I smiled through a family dinner while my sister complained about how hard her life was. I looked around my apartment, the neat shelves, the framed certification on the wall, the quiet life I built with late nights and lonely weekends. It felt like a set, like I had been decorating a room inside someone else's trap. I opened my email and searched one phrase I had been ignoring for weeks. Relocation offer. It was for our risk division overseas, a promotion I earned and then punished myself for wanting. I had left it unopened because guilt is a leash, because my mother cried whenever I mentioned leaving, because Grayson always made sure my sister had a new crisis right when my life started moving forward. I clicked the offer. It was still active. My heart did not race. It went calm, cold, clean. I accepted. The screen confirmed it, transfer approved, expedited start, human resources will contact you. My hands did not shake. My breath did not catch. I was not running away. I was stepping out of the blast radius. Then I did the thing my father never expected. I played along. I opened a travel site and booked a refundable flight out of Chicago, not to where I was actually going, but to somewhere that looked dramatic enough to convince a man like Grayson. I took a screenshot of the confirmation, a breadcrumb for a hunter who thought he was chasing prey. Then I opened our text thread. I typed, slowly, "You are right. I cannot risk an investigation." I stared at the message before sending it. The urge to add a paragraph of pain rose in my chest, the urge to explain how betrayed I felt, how scared I was. Explanations are oxygen. I did not feed the fire. I kept typing. I tried to transfer the money, but it flagged. I added Waverly so she can withdraw it in person. It was a lie, of course. At my bank, adding an authorized signer required the person to appear with identification, sign a card, and be photographed by the camera above the desk. It required consent, verification, and a trail. It required exposure. I sent the message with the branch address and a time when the lobby would be busy, when witnesses would be everywhere, when security would be alert, when the cameras would be crisp. Go in the morning, bring your ID, ask for the withdrawal. I hit send and set my phone face down on the table like I had just laid down a knife. I waited. The typing bubbles appeared, vanished, appeared again. Somewhere in my childhood home, my father was reading my submission out loud like a victory speech. Somewhere beside him, my sister was probably already planning what furniture to buy with money she stole using my name. My phone buzzed. Good girl. My jaw tightened, but my face stayed neutral, because the truth was he was right about one thing. I was being good. Good at my job, good at documentation, good at risk mitigation, good at letting criminals get comfortable enough to make the mistake that ends them. I slid my laptop closer and opened a separate tab, the internal fraud escalation form I had filed for other people 100 times. I knew the exact wording to use. I knew which boxes triggered which alerts. I knew which phrases forced a branch manager to stall instead of argue. Then another thought slipped in, quiet and sharp. What if Waverly did not even know the full plan? What if she believed she was just borrowing, like she always did, and my father was the one steering the fraud to protect himself? The idea made my stomach twist, not with sympathy but with clarity. If Waverly panicked in the lobby, she would talk. If she talked, she would point to Grayson. If she pointed to him, the whole family myth would crack. I stood and walked to my closet, pulled out a suitcase and started packing not clothes but paperwork. Passport, offer letter, hard drive, backup phone. And as I moved, another memory rose, hot and unwanted. A night years ago when my father called me crying, telling me Waverly had been pulled over and needed money right now, because otherwise the officer might take her to jail. I remember wiring money while my hands shook, telling myself it was mercy, telling myself it was love. Now I could finally name it. It was training. They trained me to pay quickly, to fix quietly, to never ask for details, to treat their emergencies like my responsibility. But this time, I followed their deadline perfectly, and I followed their rules perfectly, and I gave them exactly what they wanted. A chance to walk into a bank and prove who they really were. Hold on, tiny break. I read the comments when I am worn out, and seeing your location reminds me I am not telling these stories into an empty room. Like, subscribe and drop your city, state, or country. Now, here is what happened next. When dawn came, the city felt washed clean and indifferent. I sat in the airport lounge with my laptop open and my phone beside a cup of coffee I did not taste. I watched time tick forward without looking at a clock, because my body already knew when the doors would open. I knew the branch manager at that location, Hadley. She was strict, polite, and allergic to chaos. She would not bend for sob stories. She would not process anything that smelled wrong, and once she saw an alert, she would follow protocol like it was scripture. My phone buzzed with a final text from my father. Do not make this harder. Just let her take the money and keep your mouth shut. I stared at the message, and the last bit of fear inside me dissolved into something colder. He thought the threat was the trap. He did not realize the trap was my silence. I placed my fingers on the keyboard, opened the fraud escalation panel, and selected the option I had never dared to use for myself. Victim of identity theft. My cursor hovered over the button that would freeze the account in real time, flag the branch, and summon security without a single raised voice. Outside, the first morning flights lifted off the runway, smooth and inevitable. Inside, I clicked. The screen confirmed the freeze, and for a moment, nothing in the lounge changed. The espresso machine still hissed. A man in a suit still laughed softly at his own joke. A flight attendant still rolled a cart past me like the world had not just split open. But on the other end of my decision, in that marble lobby downtown, the air was about to turn metallic. I did not watch the clock. I watched my secure alerts panel because time is emotional and systems are honest. A new line appeared, branch terminal acknowledgement. Hadley had seen it. My phone vibrated again, face down, a stubborn little insect refusing to die. I did not flip it over right away. I let the vibration stop on its own because control is a habit and I was done letting my father train mine out of me. When I finally looked, it was a voicemail notification from him, not a text. That was interesting. Grayson only left voicemails when he wanted something recorded, something he could later twist into proof that he was the reasonable one. I did not listen, not yet. I opened my bank messaging portal instead and typed one short note to Hadley, keeping it clinical, no sister language, no daughter language. Active identity theft. Suspect will attempt in-person access using stolen identity. Do not confront. Stall. Security present. Contact law enforcement. Then I sat back and waited like I was watching a storm roll in from a safe window. A second alert popped up. Lobby camera motion flagged. That meant someone had walked into the branch. My stomach tightened anyway. Not fear, just gravity. Even when you are prepared, you still feel it when the trap begins to close. I pictured Waverly the way she always arrived to take something from me. Hair perfect. Mouth soft with fake worry. Outfit chosen to say, I belong here, I am important, I am innocent. The kind of look that works on men who think pretty equals harmless. Hadley would smile politely. A teller would ask for identification. Waverly would slide her license across the counter like she was doing a normal errand, like she was not trying to pick the lock on my life. I imagined her saying my name out loud, as if she owned it. I am authorized on Colette's account. She added me last night. And I imagined the teller's face when the red banner exploded on the screen. Identity theft. Contact authorities. In the lounge, I heard my own breath. Slow, quiet, controlled. My hands were still on the keyboard, not clenched, just ready. Another alert. Teller stall protocol initiated. Hadley was good. She was doing exactly what the system trained her to do. Smile, apologize. Pretend the system was slow. Keep the person talking, keep them inside. Waverly would not like that. She never liked waiting. Waiting makes people feel small, and my sister could not survive feeling small. My phone lit up again, this time with a text. Where is she? Why is it taking so long? Grayson. He was outside. Of course he was outside. He always sent other people into the fire while he held the extinguisher, ready to look like the hero if it worked, ready to disappear if it did not. I did not answer. I watched the screen. Another alert flashed, subject agitation increasing. I could almost hear my sister's voice, that sharp, sugary tone she used when she wanted to cut someone while keeping her smile. Can you hurry up? I have a flight. A flight? That made me almost laugh. Waverly had never rushed to catch anything except consequences. Then the feed updated again. Secondary party present, older female, emotional distress. My chest went cold. My mother. That was not in my plan. My mother, Seela, was the family's favorite weapon because she looked soft. She could cry and make strangers want to rescue her. She could say my name like a prayer and turn any room into a courtroom where I was automatically guilty. I stared at the words on the screen, and for the first time that morning, my hands tightened. Waverly had brought our mother as a shield. Hadley would not fall for it, but the sight of Seela in that lobby, clutching her purse, eyes wide like a frightened deer, might crack a teller. It might crack security. It might crack protocol. And that was the point. Grayson did not need the money if he could force a scene loud enough to make me look unstable later. He was always playing 2 games at once. I moved fast. I opened an internal chat and sent Hadley one more message. Mother may be present. Do not allow emotional manipulation to bypass procedure. Security first. My throat burned, and I hated that it burned. I hated that even now, even with proof and systems and protocols on my side, a part of me still wanted to protect them from the consequences they earned. That part of me had been raised like a pet. I muted it. The alerts kept coming. Subject requests manager. Subject claims power of attorney. Power of attorney. My lips parted slightly, not in shock, but in recognition. That was Grayson's handwriting all over it. A document, a story, a performance. If they could not get the withdrawal, they would try to introduce paperwork to muddy the water. They would try to turn fraud into confusion. But confusion does not survive cameras. Another alert. Security engaged at entrance. Good, keep them inside. Then the one line I had been waiting for appeared. Law enforcement en route. My pulse did not spike. It dropped lower, like my body finally trusted the ground under my feet. Still, my brain kept moving, because revenge is not anger. Revenge is logistics. I opened a new email draft addressed to our internal ethics department. I did not write a novel. I wrote a timeline. I attached the screenshots. I attached my father's threats. I attached the access log showing the device name. I wrote one sentence that would matter later. I am reporting a criminal impersonation attempt involving my identity. I have taken immediate steps to freeze accounts and preserve evidence. I am requesting guidance on next actions and protective measures. Then I hit send. That was my insurance. If Grayson had already emailed them some fake complaint, mine would land first with proof, clean and time-stamped. He could not smear me if I walked into the room holding the knife he used. My phone buzzed again, a call this time. Unknown number. I answered because my instincts told me it was not him. Colette, it is Hadley. Her voice was low, controlled. The kind of calm that means chaos is happening right in front of you, and she refuses to let it on the room. They are here, she said, both of them. Your sister is insisting you added her. Your mother is crying. We have the alert. We are stalling. Security is holding the doors. Police are close. My mouth went dry anyway. Not fear. Old grief, the kind that lives in your bones and wakes up when you hear the word mother. Thank you, I said, and I meant it. Hadley hesitated. There is something else. My stomach tightened again. Your sister is saying you are out of the country. She says you told your father you were running because you are guilty. There it was. He did leave a voicemail. He wanted something recorded. He wanted to paint me as a woman fleeing her own mess. I felt my lips press into a thin line. He thought he was clever. Hadley continued. I did not react. I told her we will speak to you directly through official channels. She is getting louder. Do not argue, I said softly. Let her talk. Silence on the line. Then Hadley breathed out like she understood exactly what I was doing. All right, she said. Officers just arrived. The call ended. I stared at the lounge window. A plane pushed back from the gate, slow and heavy. I thought about how many times I had pushed my own life back from the gate for them. How many times I had told myself later, after this crisis, after this bill, after this emergency, I will finally leave. Later never came. Not until I made it. My phone lit up with another text from Grayson. Answer me. She needs the check. Do not embarrass us. Embarrass us. He still thought this was about image. Then the next message came, and it was not from him. A number I did not recognize, but the preview showed my sister's name. Colette, it said, please. I did not know it would do this. My heart gave one hard beat, like it hit a wall. That was twist number 1. Waverly was not texting like a predator. She was texting like a cornered animal. I opened it, and more messages poured in, frantic, broken, the punctuation wild like her fingers were shaking. They are saying I stole your identity. Mom is crying. Dad is outside yelling. He told me you added me. He told me it was fine. He said you always do this. He said you would pay because you are scared. I stared at the words until they blurred for a second, not from tears, but from rage so clean it felt like ice. She admitted it. Not in a courtroom, not to a detective, to me, in writing. My hands moved on their own. Screenshot, save, backup. Then another message arrived. Dad said if I did not get the money, he would report you and say you did it. He said he already sent the email. Twist number 2. He had already tried to burn me. My chest tightened, and my mind went clear as glass. I opened my voicemail from him and played it, keeping my face blank, because his voice still had the power to pull me backward into being 12 years old. Colette, he said, slow and wounded, I cannot believe you would do this to your sister. If you do not fix it, I will have no choice but to report you. Do not make me protect the family from you. He sounded so calm, so righteous, so ready to be believed. I stopped the voicemail and smiled, small and sharp. Because now I had something better than proof. I had his performance, and I had Waverly's confession, and I had a system that recorded everything. Another call came in, not Hadley this time, a different voice, male, steady. Ms. Colette, this is Detective Parker with Chicago Police. I am calling to inform you your sister is detained at your bank, attempting to access your account. Your father is also on scene and refusing to cooperate. I let the words sit in the air for a second. Sister detained, father on scene. My stomach did not flip, it settled. Detective Parker continued, we have your fraud alert. We have the bank footage. We will need your statement. And Ms. Colette, you should know your sister is saying your father forced her. I closed my eyes for a moment. Twist number 3. Waverly was throwing him under the bus already. That was the sound of a family myth breaking. I opened my eyes and looked straight at the lounge window, at that moving aircraft, at that clean forward motion. Detective, I said, my voice even, I will cooperate fully. I have documentation, I have screenshots, I have access logs, I have threats in writing. There was a pause, and then his tone shifted slightly, like he had just realized this was not a messy family argument. This was a case. All right, he said, we will arrange a formal interview. For now, do you feel safe? I almost laughed again. Safe. I had never been safe with them. I had just been useful. I am leaving, I said, and I am not coming back. Another pause, and then he said, understood. One more thing. Your father is asking if you can come down here and fix this, like it is a misunderstanding. I pictured Grayson in the parking lot, chest puffed, voice booming, pretending he was the victim of an ungrateful daughter. I pictured him gesturing toward the bank like it was a restaurant that got his order wrong. I imagined him believing, even now, that I would show up and absorb the blast. No, I said quietly, I am not fixing it. I am documenting it. The detective breathed out, and in that breath I heard agreement. We will handle it, he said. The call ended, and my phone immediately buzzed with one last text from Grayson. If you do this, you are dead to me. I stared at the message, and something inside me loosened, like a knot finally gave up. Dead to him meant free. I opened my settings, changed my number forwarding, and turned off the old family line for good. Then my email chimed. A new message from Human Resources. Congratulations, Colette. We are excited to confirm your expedited transfer. Please confirm your departure date so we can finalize your relocation package. I stared at that sentence, and my hands finally trembled, not from fear, but from the release of a weight I had carried for decades. Outside, a boarding announcement echoed through the lounge, soft and cheerful, as if it were announcing an ordinary day. I typed one line back to Human Resources, and my fingers did not hesitate. As soon as possible. And as I hit send, my phone lit up with a final message from Waverly, shorter than the rest, almost childlike. Please do not let Mom hate me for this. I looked at it for a long time. Then I set the phone down, stood up, and picked up my carry-on because the answer to her question was not my job anymore. And the next part of this story was about to land on my father like a closing gate. I walked to my gate with my carry-on rolling behind me, the wheels clicking softly over tile seams, and it felt strange how ordinary everything looked when my entire family was collapsing in real time. At the counter, the agent smiled and scanned my boarding pass. No questions, no suspicion, just a polite nod and a printed receipt, like I was simply another woman leaving Chicago for work. I boarded early and took my seat by the window. The cabin smelled like recycled air and fabric cleaner. A man across the aisle tapped at his tablet. Someone laughed 2 rows back. Life kept moving because life does not pause for family drama. Once the doors closed, I finally listened to the voicemail from my father again, not because it hurt, but because I needed to hear it as evidence, not history. His voice was smooth, wounded, almost gentle. Protect the family from you. I saved it in the same folder as the texts, the screenshots, the access logs, and Waverly's frantic confession. A clean little archive of what they tried to do to me. The plane pushed back. The ground crew pulled away. And for the first time in years, I felt the tiniest flicker of something I had almost forgotten. Relief. Not happiness yet, not peace, just relief like a belt around my ribs had been loosened 1 notch. As we climbed, my phone stayed in airplane mode, but my laptop connected to the lounge network long enough to download 1 message from our legal department. It was short, blunt, and exactly what I expected from people who only cared about facts. We have received your report. Your license is not at risk. Your documentation is sufficient. Do not communicate with the subjects. We will coordinate with law enforcement. I read the line twice because my father's threat had lived in my nervous system like a parasite. Even when you know something is a lie, your body still remembers the years you spent believing him. I exhaled slowly and leaned my head back. My mind tried to drift to my mother, Selah, sitting in that lobby, crying to the tellers like she was the injured party. It would have been easy to soften for her, to tell myself she was just scared, just confused, just trying to keep peace. But then the detective's words returned. Your father is refusing to cooperate. Selah had not stopped him. She had walked in beside my sister anyway. That was not confusion. That was a choice. When the flight leveled out, the crew dimmed the lights. I opened my laptop and started the formal statement the detective requested. I kept it simple. A timeline, a list of attachments, a description of the threat. No poetry, no feelings. Then, as if my brain wanted to punish me for being calm, 1 old memory surfaced. Selah in our kitchen when I was a teenager, wiping her hands on a towel, telling me to apologize to Waverly for making her feel judged. Apologize, even though Waverly had stolen from my wallet. Apologize, even though Waverly had lied. Apologize, because harmony mattered more than truth in our house. I stared at the tray table and let the memory sit there like a dead thing. That was the family rule. The person who caused damage was protected. The person who noticed it was the problem. I was done being the problem. After we landed for my connection, I stepped into the terminal and turned my phone back on. It vibrated so hard it almost jumped in my hand. Missed calls, voicemails, more texts than I wanted to count. I did not open the family thread. I went straight to the message from Detective Parker. Your father has been arrested. Your sister has been charged. Your mother was released but is being interviewed. We will file for a protective order based on the threats and extortion. You will be contacted for a recorded statement. Arrested. Charged. Interviewed. The words should have made me feel triumphant, but what I felt was quieter. Like a door had finally closed on a room I never wanted to live in, and the sound of it clicking shut was the loudest justice I needed. Then another message arrived, this one from an unknown number. Colette, it's Mom. Please answer. I did not. I walked to a quiet corner by a charging station and recorded my statement for the detective, the way I would for any case. Clear, professional, calm, I did not call my father names. I did not describe him as evil. I described what he did in his own words with his own texts attached. When I finished, I emailed the file to the detective and to my bank's legal team. Then I blocked the number. The next day, in a hotel room that smelled like new carpet and loneliness, I opened a message from Human Resources with the subject line that finally felt like my real life. Relocation itinerary confirmed. They had arranged temporary housing. They had arranged a driver. They had arranged everything I always told myself I could not accept because my family needed me. My family did not need me. They needed someone to absorb consequences. I looked at my reflection in the mirror above the desk. Same face, same tired eyes, but something had changed in the way my shoulders sat. I looked like a woman who had stopped negotiating with people who only understood leverage. That afternoon, my lawyer called. "Your protective order is approved," she said. "Your sister's attorney is asking for mercy based on coercion. She is claiming your father orchestrated the whole thing." I did not feel sorry for Waverly. She still chose to use my identity. She still chose to walk into that bank and demand my money. But the part of me that loved clean endings appreciated one thing. They were turning on each other. The family myth was eating itself. My lawyer continued, "There is something else. A title company contacted us. They want to know why you did not show up to closing for the condo." My stomach went still. Title company. Condo. I asked one question, careful, controlled, like I was afraid the air might shatter. "Whose name is on the paperwork?" There was a pause, then my lawyer said, "Yours. You were listed as the buyer." Of course I was. Waverly did not just steal my money. She stole my future, my credit, my entire identity, and tried to wrap it around her dream like gift paper. And now that theft had created a new kind of proof. Not just bank logs, not just texts. A legal document in a title company's system that said my sister tried to buy a home as me. My lawyer's voice softened slightly. "The seller is also pursuing damages because they held the unit off market. Your bank will likely seek restitution. You will not be paying for this." I stared out the window at a city that was not mine, at traffic moving like veins, and a slow smile rose in my throat. My father wanted to burn my license. Instead, he built a paper trail so sharp it could cut through every lie he ever told about me. That night, I took out my old SIM card, the one tied to the family plan, the one my father used like a leash. I held it between two fingers and looked at it for a long moment. So many years of being reachable, so many years of being pulled back. Then I snapped it in half and dropped it into the trash. In the morning, I signed my new employment documents, confirmed my new address, and watched the final email arrive from the ethics board. No action, no violation, matter closed. Closed. I read that word until it felt real. When my driver arrived to take me to my new apartment, I carried only one suitcase. The rest of my life was already lighter because I had left the heaviest part of it in a bank lobby on camera. And as the car pulled away, I opened a new contact on my phone and saved it under one name. Not my father, not my mother, not my sister. Me. Because the last thing my family ever gave me was the most expensive gift they never intended to hand over. They taught me exactly how to erase them.